Please remember to subscribe. It's just one click for you, but it helps me a lot creating new videos. Thank you. Please share this video. Isn't this great? Stock market record highs, while job losses also at record highs. The worse the economic news gets, the higher stocks are going to go. This phenomenon has been in play for years. The fantastic trend continues as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Retail closures are exploding. Small businesses are struggling after months of restrictions. Massive inflation on the way, $3 trillion deficit, $35 trillion national debt. Meanwhile, futures are up for the 8th day in a row. This is looking like a dot-com bubble crash 10 times over. The Fed was not printing like crazy when the dot-com crash hit. When this blows, the currency and markets will go together at the same time. More unemployment means more competition for lower wages, which is not an accident but part of the agenda. Higher taxes, more government regulation, and enhanced unemployment are their perfect cocktail to cure private sector unemployment. The number of new applications for unemployment insurance filed last week dipped slightly but remained well above historic averages. Weekly jobless claims totaled 793,000 during the first week of February, falling by 19,000 from the previous week's revised total of 812,000 claims. The total number of weekly jobless claims filed in the final week of January was initially reported at 779,000, 33,500 fewer than the revised total. Acute stress in the job market, but the unemployment rate falls. Awesome. Unbelievable. At the peak, the U.S. workforce was about 155 million. With 20 million collecting unemployment, that would put the unemployment rate at near 13% or nearly double. Oh right, half are not actively looking for a job, just collecting the money. The official unemployment numbers stopped being accurate when millions of people ran out of their benefits. As Forbes points out, over 70 million have sought first-time unemployment since this charade has started, and that was December 23, 2020. Add in 8 more weeks of 800,000, and we're at 76 million unemployed. Adding 30,000 jobs in New York State in 1 month does not equal the 1.9 million jobs already lost. At that rate, it will take over 5 years to regain those jobs. So you think this is bad? Wait until Biden bans all U.S. domestic travel and the big airline and hotel layoffs start in April. Hundreds of thousands of new jobless added to the rolls. Wait until Joe Biden's job-killing executive orders kick in, which include the stoppage of the Keystone XL pipeline, stoppage of the border wall in South Texas, and if he gets his way, the $15 per hour minimum wage will destroy entry-level jobs for millions of young people. American workers, some of which are making 6-figure salaries, will suffer under Biden, and John Kerry's solution is to let them all make solar panels. A job building solar panels will not pay the equivalent of a construction worker on the Keystone pipeline. We already tried that solar panel thing under Obama, remember the Solyndra scandal? Welcome back to the no job left undestroyed policy. Close the economy for a year, and wonder why millions are unemployed. If the government went out of business permanently, that would cause this economy to soar. No bureaucrats at the Department of Labor throwing stumbling blocks in front of employers, no worthless politicians to extort us, no Department of Energy to cause high energy prices. No IRS to steal from us any longer, etc. And I could go on and on. They have incentivized workers not to work, because they make more staying unemployed with the enhanced unemployment benefit, stimulus money, Section 8 housing subsidies, and SNAP. Combining all these incentives to not work, some of these folks are rolling $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Why work when you can get the same money staying at home pulling your pud? They create dependency. That is how they control the little people. When you subsidize something, you get more of it. While many workers are chilling at home or working reduced hours due to the lockdowns, many are paying little attention to the huge number of job opportunities that are vanishing every day. A higher minimum wage adds a whole new element to this situation by encouraging businesses to bring in machines that reduce the need for human workers. Those putting a friendly face on this, calling it creative destruction, may someday look back at the problems it creates with huge regret. I ran across the term, destructive recursion, which refers to the system that keeps feeding those back into itself who are destroying it. This is not a good thing but seems well entrenched. Biden's pen just killed over 80,000 jobs and then some. Add another 15,000 to 20,000 more jobs that supported those working on the pipeline, secretaries, vendors, supply chains, pipe outfitters, fuel delivery people, lodging, and the loss of income for grocery chains, on and on and on, let alone the devastating domino effect the closure of manufacturing plants that produced the materials needed for that project. On the other hand, illegal border crossings spiked over 150% in January from January 2020, up to 75,000 people. It's pretty easy to figure out. Less jobs, higher taxes, higher energy prices, open borders. What comes next is when most realize the currency debasement is taking place all at once and they're rushed to spend those soon-to-be worthless dollars now before prices rise even more. This subtracts from an already weak supply chain, creating shortages and scarcity of some items, not unlike the origins of hyperinflation. Gasoline is already going up, and that affects not only driving but service and delivery as well as the costs for food and goods. Taxes and regulations will do damage too. You will see some of these results in the late spring to summer. I'm fine with taxing trades as high-frequency traders create too much market volatility, but I'd rather see the money go to a broader financial purpose. This is a small preview of things to come. Putting businesses out of business or they move to another country. Constant executive orders and ragging on the American people will take their toll pretty heavily. Wealth seizure disguised as a surcharge in order to redistribute wealth. And letting China call the shots. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also hit the notification bell. Commodities are more expensive. Interest rates are higher. Unemployment is skyrocketing. Bezos et al. Are raking it in. I'm not against putting a levy on the purchase and trades of stocks and bonds and derivatives, but everyone better understand anyone with a 401k, college fund account, retirement account, and life insurance account. All that is what you are about to tax. It is not just rich people who will be taxed, retirees, teachers, union members, and just about everyone, even some kids and parents saving for college for their kids will pay this tax and have their investments reduced. So if you must raise revenue, then okay, but this is a tax on everyone, not just the rich, even though they own more of the market. It might also be something to think about when you are about to propose spending another $2 trillion before you even spend the $900 billion you spent at Christmas. If you believe this crap actually has to be paid back, then these are the type of taxes we are all going to start to see. I'm starting to get to the point where I think these bills are just numbers that no one even plans to pay back, just manage compared to GDP. Seems fake when you think of us spending $12 trillion last year. Can't even fathom that. I know $1 trillion is a stack of $1 bills that will take you to the moon and back and halfway to the moon again. Seems like we are spending a lot of trips to the moon. Time to tax hedge fund earnings at the regular income rate. Fed printer goes brr, and will right up until the dollar's hyperinflationary crash. The money printing will continue to go into stocks. Where the hell else is it going to go into? A saving account with a nice 0% interest rate, compounded daily. Stocks are going to the moon, then Mars, then Jupiter, just like in Zimbabwe. Some authors have said this is like the stagflation in the early 80s, except they seem to have forgotten in the early 80s a bank account paid a double-digit interest. Things are so bad that deflation is a real concern too. Nobody has money for anything but the bare essentials, or everybody has gobs of money and nothing to buy. Pick your poison. Maybe it's an opportunity in disguise. Maybe we can step back from the carnage to get a look at how comically and tragically stupid the whole financial system really is. Debt-based money was, is, and always will be an atrocious idea. Measuring GDP by how many wet wipes, gallons of gas, or television screens are traded in the open market seems dumb. Maybe we can use other metrics to gauge well-being. How healthy and happy are people? How much time do they spend with family, friends, or hobbies? How much do they have squirreled away, on average? Theoretically, you should be able to live on savings forever. The same can't be said for spendings. Wall Street doesn't really represent the health of the economy. The Main Street does, until state and the federal governments start helping local economies instead of the big boys who can afford to bail themselves out. The state of the economy will never reflect what is actually happening across the nation on a level that actually impacts the average citizen and causes downturns on a national level. The Keynesian fraudsters at the Fed are hurtling us down to the road to hyperinflation. The only protection from the Fed's currency debasement is to buy and hold physical precious metals. It's never been about a pandemic. It has always been about the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And the consolidation of power, which requires that governments crush private businesses and stomp all over our rights. The elites want the working class destroyed and cheap labor brought in. It is the deliberate bankrupting and enslaving of the world. Everything else is a smokescreen. Turns out that the whole money system was a complete scam. It was all just a bunch of beggars arguing over scraps. Domestic production is under attack, intended to drive the sheep to UBI, where they will be made docile and manageable. What a great time to roll out the universal basic income. Keep those serfs on their knees and beholden. The US is entering the dark ages. It looks like it will last for many years and is only in the build-up phase at this time. Stupidity and the need to control others is dominant. The woke mob controls an army of sheep, all of whom control the other one-half of the population. You may not be docile, but most of everyone you know is, regardless of what they say. The current most stupid thing ever said comes from the CDC, where they recommend everyone wear 2 masks now. Even if they've had the shots. While few will ever wear 2 masks, it's incredulous that the CDC even said that people should wear 2 masks now. Tip for fun: troll on-air news personalities about the new rules and demand they follow the new rules. They set an example for everyone. Chain reaction stupid is in process, and there is no end in sight. The only thing we can be sure of is that things will get much worse in unforeseeable ways for an indefinitely long period of time. When the economy is not depicting what is actually happening to most of the people, there is no point in looking at the economy. Millions more people unemployed, but we can fix that by lending money to rich people who bail out their own companies while selling nothing and creating no new jobs or destroying old jobs. That's not a fix. That's a smokescreen, and whatever it is you are measuring or altering has absolutely nothing to do with the economy. It is simply a con. Lenin, Stalin, and Marx pretty much were on the same page as the following quotes are attributed to them: "The capitalists will sell us the rope with which we will hang them. When it comes time to hang the capitalists, they will sell us the rope. The last capitalist we hang shall be the one who sold us the rope." Kind of ironic that this is basically playing out in the Western world. Capitalism has turned into the snake eating its own tail. Everything exists and is done for profit. Okay, I get it. No one wants to work for free. But it becomes self-defeating when you put your client base out of business, i.e. unemployed, and want to sell them your goods. Amazon, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Office Depot, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, etc. have put out of business so many mom and pop shops who funneled their profits back into the community by employment. Now the big box corporations are just looking to make as much as they can, so their investors can be happy at the costs of their workers. So offshoring jobs just to increase profits, and you wind up with the vast majority of Americans who don't have enough to cover a $500 emergency expense. It's gotten to the point that Apple offers 24 months 0% financing on their phones. Car companies are now offering financing well past 72 months, which means the car is no longer worth anything. This will only get worse, and my fear is that in the next 10 to 20 years the puppet masters pulling strings will take care of that with a UBI, universal basic income. You will be a debt slave for the rest of your life. When you hear, "We are the government and here to help," you need to run. This all ends in tears and sadness.